Good day, everybody. Welcome to Mind Prosperity. It's so great to have you. Today, I have a very interesting lesson that I want to share with you entitled Dealing with the Trauma of Betrayal. And this is betrayal from people. This is betrayal from life. This is any kind of betrayal that you have ever dealt with. And today we're going to look at how to deal with that trauma, how to heal that trauma. Because if you want to go into your best life, if you want to live a successful life, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, you wanna go to it with a healthy mindset, with healthy emotions, and a lot of these things like trauma and betrayal can get us to a place where we don't approach life with a healthy mindset and healthy emotions. Now, I say this a lot, and I learned it from Dr. Joe Dispenza. What you think and what you feel will eventually create your reality. He calls it brain and heart coherence, where the mind is electric, the heart is magnetic. What you think, what you feel will create your state of being. And if we don't learn to deal with betrayals of life, if we don't learn to deal with betrayals of people, this can cause a bitterness in our mindset. It can cause a bitterness in our emotions. And if we sit with that bitterness, the bitterness will be kind of like a block in relationships, in business, and in many areas of life. So thank you for being here. If you want to know more about me, if you want to know more about the company Mind Prosperity, you can check out our website, www.mindprosperity.co.za. And there's also a lot of information, contact information. If you guys want to make personal contact, it will be so great to connect with you. Also want to encourage you to like, to subscribe, and to share this video. Our goal now is to go to 1,000 subscribers, and your subscription will really make me feel so good in getting closer to that target. So thank you so much. Dealing with the trauma of betrayal. Crystal Ripple said, betrayal trauma may affect your self-esteem, emotional health, and relationships with others. If you don't learn to deal with trauma, if you don't learn to deal with betrayal, you will treat certain people and certain situations worse than what they expect, because somebody else hurt you in the past. You might now treat a new person that's in your life as if he or she is the old person. This can be in a friendship, romantic, business relationship. If you don't deal with past betrayal, you will take the past betrayal, you will take that hurt, you will take that bitterness into the now, into the future. And it can kind of serve as a roadblock. Now, our company's name is Mind Prosperity, and the word prosperity means to kind of have a smooth road, to have a good road. Doesn't mean everything is going to be perfect, but you want to go through it smoothly, and you want to go through it smoothly, especially when it comes to your mindset, and especially when it comes to your emotions. So what are some things that causes this trauma of betrayal? I think one of the things is expectation. Now, I'm a person that believes in expectation. I believe in the importance of expectation. I believe in the importance of good expectation. But, expectation can also cause a lot of hurt if it's not navigated and managed in the right way. Meaning, we can have an expectation from somebody, we can have an expectation from something, and if people or life circumstances doesn't meet the expectation the way we wanted it to be met, then we can get kind of, again, angry, bitter. I hear the word bitterness coming out a lot today, so that's maybe for somebody out there. And life can make us bitter, people can make us bitter, and then we can say, but I'm never going to have a great expectation again. I'm not going to have an expectation of people again. I'm not going to have an expectation of life again because of the hurt and the betrayal that I went through. And like I said again, expectation is a very important thing. It's a very important thing to keep your expectation. But if that expectation got hurt, if that expectation became damaged, then you get to a place where you're like, you know what, I'm not going to have an expectation anymore. And your body goes kind of like in survival mode. I'm not going to expect anything. I'm not going to plan for the future. I'm not going to have a vision. I'm gonna just do what I need to do to survive and to stay alive. So that's why it's also important to admit the realities of life. To say, while I have a good expectation, while I have a trust for something great, I also have to admit that betrayal is part of life. Disappointment is part of life, and we shouldn't get to the place where the disappointment or the failure or the betrayal hurts the expectation. But the best thing to do in a situation like that is just to say, know what, I was hurt, I was betrayed, but I need to forgive. And forgiveness literally means to let go. I put it away from me. Doesn't mean what the person did is okay. Doesn't mean what happened in my life is okay. But it does mean I can move on, and I can still stay in that space of a great expectation. Because life is not always going to give you exactly what you expect, exactly how you expect it. But if you get your mind to a certain place, if you get your emotions to a certain place, we can know that our lives will go in that direction. And we cannot always plan exactly how. We cannot always plan exactly every step. We cannot always plan when. But a very important thing is that we don't lose our trust, that we don't lose our expectation, that we don't lose our ambition, that we don't lose our drive with the hurts and the pains of betrayal that happened. And then another thing that's very important to focus on is your healing. And to say, I want to focus on me, I want to focus on my healing, I want to focus on my well-being, is not a selfish thing. It's only a selfish thing if you do it at the expense of others and hurting other people intentionally in the process. Now, you get people who might get hurt because of their own insecurities, because they don't like the fact that you're dealing with yourself, that you're healing yourself, that you're setting up some boundaries. That does happen because a toxic person never agrees with your boundaries, never agrees with when you want to work on yourself. So this is not a selfish thing. This is more a self-love, a self-care approach that you take at the end of the day. And whatever means you need to use to heal yourself is very, very important. Now, at Mind Prosperity, we have a slogan that we call Step Back. And I might refer to it a lot because I do believe it's very, very important. And one of the sports that I like a lot is soccer or football. And you will see in a soccer game or in a football game, when there's a penalty shootout, the kicker doesn't just put down the ball and kicks. He takes a few steps back and he aims. Same with a golfer. They tee up, they take a few steps back and they observe. When it comes to your healing, it's important to take a step back. It's important to observe. It's important to heal, because when you do that, the next shot, speaking about golf, or the next strike, speaking about soccer, will be so much more effective if you take a step back and if you observe. So many people don't focus on themselves. Many people don't heal themselves because they have this need to please people. And they think, but what if people aren't going to be pleased with me if I do this? And people with a mindset that normally gets hurt by betrayal more, because they are people pleasers. They have this need for other people to like them. Now, I want to give you another perspective, because I'm not a person that says, I don't care what people think about me. What other people think doesn't matter. I don't care whatsoever. Because I do. And I think it's healthy to care to a certain level. I think it's healthy to say, I do want people to like me. I do want my friends and my family members and my spouse to get along with me. I do believe that's a healthy thing. But I don't want to do it to a place where I hurt myself, where I don't focus on my healing, where people pleasing and people's acceptance becomes so important to me that I cannot exist outside of it. That's an unhealthy thing. But I also want to say this saying doesn't matter what people think, screw everybody. That's not healthy either. But we want to get to a healthy place where we say, listen, I want to have good relationships, because one of the key elements of emotional intelligence that I speak about a lot is having good relationships with other people. But I want to take a step back. I want to manage this situation correctly, and I want to master this situation correctly so that both myself and my relationship with other people can benefit from this. And also, one thing that we have to realize is life is uncertain. If you want to make 100% sure that a person is not going to betray you, life events is not going to disappoint you, that's never going to happen. Life is uncertain. People are unpredictable. You are unpredictable. Your own thoughts, your own feelings are unpredictable. So sometimes we have to take a chance. Sometimes we get hurt when we take a chance, but that's okay, as long as we know how to deal with that hurt, how to forgive, how to be resilient, and never lose that great expectation of life, no matter what happens in life. And then what's also important is give people access in your life based on the responsibility they have in your life. Because, some people, and this connects a lot to the histrionic personality. I've done a series on the histrionic personality before, but one of the things about the histrionic personality, they always act as if they are closer to you than what they really are. And it's almost like you owe them something. And if you don't give them what they want, they get extremely angry. So it's not wrong of you to say to people, listen, I'm going to give you the commitment based on the access that you have in my life. So you cannot give people access in your life to a certain level if they're not willing to take responsibility on that level. Meaning, I'm not going to share personal things about myself or ask counseling from people that are gossiping and that are trying to hurt me. That doesn't mean I won't hang out with them. I will just be very discreet on the information that I share. So Lisa Turkhurst said, I can't keep giving level 10 access if the other person only brings level 3 responsibility. So, and this also happens a lot with people pleasers. They give people access because they want to please people, but those people doesn't take responsibility for the access that they have in their life. So I want to end with 2 attachment styles, and I'm going to start with the insecure attachment styles. And this is people who are obviously insecure about themselves and the way they relate in relationships to other people. Insecure attached individuals often struggle with forming stable connections, meaning their connections with other people is unstable. It's very much up and down. And this is one thing that I really look for, when I think it's important when you choose business partners, when you choose friends, when you choose spouses, or a spouse rather, to look for that stability in relationships. Difficulty regulating their emotions, not a strong emotional intelligence, a struggle to manage and to master their emotions, navigating conflicts. So conflict is a part of life. Knowing how to navigate it, knowing how to manage it is very, very important. But people with an insecure attachment style, they struggle a lot with navigating conflicts. They will either like withdraw and become cold and become distant, give people the silent treatment, or they will become like a very emotional, aggressive, and things like that. So the insecure attachment is characterized by difficulties in establishing trust and safety in relationships. They struggle to trust. Many people don't trust them either, because a lot of the things that happens on the inside of you reflects on the outside, and these patterns can manifest in anxious attachment. So when they attach themselves in relationships, when they go in relationships, they are very anxious. Anxious about getting too close is one thing, and the other thing is anxious about losing the person. There's just not security. They worry about things like abandonment, and they constantly seek reassurance. Because they worry about abandonment and because they worry about rejection, they kind of look for that reassurance the whole time. And if the other person or the other party does something that doesn't reassure them, they get extremely anxious, and they get extremely distant, or they get overly emotional. So where we want to get to when we deal with this trauma, we want to get to a place of secure attachment. And a secure attachment refers to a healthy and balanced emotional bond. Healthy and balanced, meaning there's not too many ups and downs, not too many highs and lows. It's more a balance that has been formed between individuals. It's characterized by trust. Trust is one of the characteristics, and that doesn't mean I trust all of your actions all the time, and you're perfect and I'm perfect. But I do trust your intentions. I know. If you are late, there's a reason. If you do make a mistake, I know it's not part of your character. So it doesn't mean the person's, the people's behavior is always going to be 100%. But I do kind of like trust your intentions and your motivations, and I have an idea who you are. There's comfort and there's a sense of safety around that person. So what we should focus on really, and this is why I placed emphasis on the fact that we need healing. it's so important to focus on ourselves, because eventually we are going to attract in our lives who we are and not really what we want. So insecure people are looking for what they want the whole time. Secure people are focused on who they need to become. When you're focused on who you need to become, you focus on your healing, you focus on yourself, and at the end of the day, it will go over the relationships that you have. And this is a great way to deal with the trauma of betrayal. To deal with it is not to hurt the person out there, or to stay angry or bitter with the person out there, but it's really to heal yourself, to use this opportunity to grow in yourself and to become the best you that you possibly can be. So thank you so much for watching this video. We're looking forward to see you again from Mind Prosperity. We love you. We'll see you soon again. Goodbye.